Hello, my name is Jennifer Sills Almeida. Today we are going to be looking at values of variables, and there's two different types that we're going to be looking at. One is categorical, which are placed in categories and are measured at the nominal level, and the other one is going to be based on numerical and continuous data. Now, whenever we're looking at this data, we do need to also consider research questions. So on these, I would like to open this up and show the research questions that would be applicable to this. And over here and stuff, you'll see research questions, and the first one talks about reading achievement. We'll be looking at reading achievement. It is continuous numerical data. So this one is, what are the characteristics of reading achievement scores for students in the Texas K through 12 Student Success Initiative? And this one is continuous numerical data. And the reason why and stuff is this is usually data and stuff that is continuing, has decimal points in larger numbers. Now, the next one that we'll be looking at, we'll be talking about the socioeconomic status among students. So what is the distribution of socioeconomic status among students in the K through 12 data set? Now, this one is going to be based in, it's categorical because we're going to look at social economic status, and that is based on categories of low, medium, and high for that. So I just wanted to show that really quick over there. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go ahead and get started. What I would like to show you and stuff is the data that we are looking at. So when we are looking at data, what we have here, I'm going to just put this forward here. We have different variables. So there's a variable view for data, and there's also the data view. The data view is all the raw data that was placed in already, and variable view shows you all the variables. Now, this is what we're going to work on today. We're learning how to do descriptive analysis, and what we'll be doing is looking at the variables for the research question. One was in relation to reading scores and stuff right here, and the other one was in relation to SES status. So if we go and look at SES status first, one thing you'll need to do is you'll first need to go to Analyze, then Descriptive and Statistics and Frequencies. The reason why we're going to frequencies, and as you can see, it shows right here, I already put it in there, SES status. Now, if we did need to move it back and show you how to do that, you would click on SES status, put this little arrow here, and then now what we're able to do is we're able to actually pull up some graphs. What we're going to be looking at right now and stuff would be a chart, so that we're going to create in order to see that data. So over here, it says bar charts. So we would hit continue. We're going to make this, it is a frequency, because during this time and stuff, when we're looking at it, we are looking at the frequencies of, we're looking at the frequencies for the social economic status. We're looking at that and the count and also the percentages. So we would hit continue here and then hit OK. Great. So let's open this here. So what we have over here, if we open this up, would be the SES status. Now, when we're looking at the SES status, it stands for social economic status. You have various things at the top. So going above here, first of all, you have frequency, then percent, then valid percent, and cumulative percent. So the first one and stuff would be the frequency. Now, the frequency is the counts and stuff. So in this case, it would be the counts of the students. The percent would be the percentage. So these two are both very, very important areas that we are looking at it at. So previously what we had done here is we had aligned, we had assigned categories. Low was 1, medium was 2, and high was 3. So now what we're going to look at is how many of the students fell into each of these categories. So under the low, what we do have here is the is 1,136. So that means that this is the number of students that were situated in low for this area. The next one, frequency, was the medium. So there was 1,566. As you can see, this had the highest number. Now this is going to be the highest mode because this is going to situate the most frequent category that we had for the most people that fell under it. High over here is 1,106. The percent and stuff will actually go in and it talks about that percent of the population. So for low categories, 28.4, for medium, 39.2, for high, 27.7. And for the valid percent, this is a category for the percent without any errors in the data. Cumulative percent, it adds on as you go down on the graph. As you can see, eventually meets 100. So this is how that works. Now you can see this bar graph. So this bar graph is based on the data that we did pull. You see low, medium, high. So for here and stuff, what it is the mode is going to be it's the one that shows up the most, and the one that shows up the most would be under the students that have social economic status as medium. And over here for the SES status, so you'll see that as indicated under medium. Now that is the one that is done and stuff. So this is based on when we went back to our research question over here. What is the distribution of socioeconomic status among students in the K through 12 data set? So that shows you and stuff where they fall under which categories, and this bar graph shows us how to do that. Now, the next one that we want to look at for the research question is reading achievement. What are the characteristics of reading achievement scores for students in the Texas K through 12 Student Success Initiative? So what we're going to do is we are going to look at reading scores. So what we're going to need to do now is let me go ahead and minimize this. I am going to open this up, and we're going to kind of go to the same thing. So we have to go to analyze again. But what we're going to do and stuff is instead of, we're going to descriptive statistics, instead of frequencies now, we are going to be, looking at a different data set. So what we're going to be looking at now is we're going to go to Explore. And now we're looking at reading scores. So when we're looking at reading scores here, the first thing you have to do is go ahead and select it. So the reading scores over here would be, let's see, to go down, go up, there's attendance rates, yellow, and once we have that, the reading scores in here. So as you can see, it was on this list, but it was here. So if I want to show you from the start, put it back into there. The reading scores right here. Go ahead and put it over here in this dependent list. And then what we're going to need to do and stuff next is look at over here on the statistics. What we have here is we need to make sure it says descriptive, so we have that is correct. Under plots, what we're going to want to do and stuff is have it as a histogram and normality plots with tests. So we already have that, so we are set there. And then we are going to, now if it was under plots and statistics, what we're wanting to do is since we are wanting to see both the normality, over here the normality and the histogram, that is done accordingly. We have a display as both. Now we're able to go ahead and hit OK on this. Okay, so now here is our data set. So what we're going to want to be looking at, as you can see in some descriptives for the For the other data set on social economic status, we were really focusing on the frequencies and the count and also the percentage and stuff. So it's really based on mode as well. Now, when we go into looking at the reading scores, we're looking at the multiple things. We're looking at the mean, the median, the variance, the standard deviation, all this, the range. So to explain what this involves and stuff is we're looking first of all to see if there with the standard deviation you can see is it's at 8.075, right? Now that deviation and stuff kind of gives us an idea. We look at the mean. The mean stands for the mean of the average of the reading score. So the average would be 91.43. The median and stuff is straight on the if you look at a box plot, which I'll show you in a second, it actually shows you what that median is. So the median would be that number that is actually listed. If you had the number from the lowest number to the largest number, that is the median. Now the standard deviation is how it changes between the two, and the standard deviation is not high, as well as the skewness. So the skewness, if you have one that that the number and stuff is actually plus or minus 1, that means it's not very skewed. So in this sense and stuff, it's just a little bit over negative 1.017. So the skewness is not that bad. So what we're wanting to look at is also another one is the box plot. So when we're looking at box plot, what we do here is at the top and bottom and stuff, we have whispers. The one in the middle is actually where 50% of the people that fell in the reading score were falling under it. And so most of them, as you can see, a lot of them were at 100. So people, as far as the reading scores, they were pretty high. And over here and stuff, that is going to be right in the middle and stuff. That is going to be the median. Now, we know it's not directly in the middle. It's a little bit of that deviation, but that's pretty aligned correctly. Now, over here and stuff, when we actually look at all these scores and stuff, this is the one that will kind of change. Now, over here and stuff, what I would like us to take note of and stuff is this could be a variant. So over here and stuff, it did not change. Like overall, how it's looking is very much based on the scores. It didn't really change that much. Over here where you see the circles, there could be some data that had to be adjusted because of the fact that it could be missing, or it could be data that needed to be fixed. But regardless, that's where that is. But in this graph and stuff, as we see here, most of it and stuff is pretty spread. The spread of the data and the variables and stuff, the range, I want to go back and show, because I don't think I had put that down, so I just wanted to show that range real quick over here and stuff. And for this and stuff, the range would be the amount from 47 to 100, and the standard deviation is 8. So 8 will, for the standard deviation and stuff, that does go ahead and it's pretty much slight. Not very high. For the skewness and stuff, like I was saying, it's -1, so it doesn't change that much on there and stuff. Now, what I would like to show you is that when we are doing something, we can look at something that's called the cusp. And this cusp looks at the center. So the center is the mean and median that tells us where the center is. any unusual features and stuff, that would be any outliners. So when I was showing the box plot, any outliners would be those zeros that we were seeing, which were right over here. Sorry, one moment. So this would be the outliers and stuff, anything that is beyond the little whispers right here. Now on the box plot, there are 4 different quartiles and stuff on that, and that is something to also notice. The shape here and stuff also, when you're looking at cusp, we have center, we have any unusual, so the center is right here, the any unusual features, we would put anything that would be beyond the whispers and stuff. That could be data entry errors. And for the spread of the data is from 47 to 100. And with the standard deviation of 8.074, which I showed you previously. And the shape is going to be just slightly skewed. It doesn't have, it's not extreme and stuff. And based on the skewness value of negative 1.018, the distribution, the histogram is slightly left skewed. So when we talk about it being left skewed, over here on the histogram that we have, you can kind of see where it's barely skewed as far as it's being negative. So this kind of gives us an idea of what is going on there. And over here, going back to the descriptives again, we have the medium. So if we look over here at the medium is 93. It's the middle value when all scores are arranged in order. We have the mean, which is the mathematical average of all reading scores. Standard deviation, which tells us how spread out the scores are around the mean. The larger the deviation, the more variability, larger spread. The variance, which is over here, 65.207, it measures the spread of data points around their mean. The range will be over here, it's 47, between 47 and 100 as the maximum, and the skewness is negative 0.018. So we have that as that skewness. And that about covers it. We have the minimum, maximum. So when we were doing the plots and stuff, the important thing about analyzing it is just to look at first of all, the different the actual image here. It will actually show you like the SES status. So we went over the SES status, and we saw that for the social economic status, the people that were in the low economic status were at 1136, medium 1566, and high is 1106. We had the highest mode for 1566 as that, and it shows you that graph and stuff that we had. And then what we did is we had the histogram, and the histogram actually shows you this data, and it's based on the correlation of the different descriptives as medium, mean, range, skewness, and mean. And then what we have here is the box plot. Now the box plot goes in and gives us the deviations. It shows you anything that does need to be changed in regards to the skewness, and that kind of gives us an idea of everything. Now when we are trying to save the data actually can be saved. So what we'll need to do and stuff here is go ahead and put save as, and you can put it as output to. We will want to save it into the desktop, and over here we can name it as output, and you always want to put the date. So put the date over here would be today's date. So 2/21 and 26. So we have that here, SPV, then we can save it. Okay, so if we're wanting to save it, we definitely want to have that data saved on our computer so we do not lose that information. And then what we're going to want to do is keep it. Go over here. We can also save it. Save as a PDF. See if we can get this as a PDF. Put that in there, because what we'll need to do when we have it as a PDF, so now it should be saved. So as you can see, it is saved as into my desktop. But another thing that we'll need to do is, if we do want to save it, we need to export it, because of the fact that we'll need to put it, like if we're sending it and putting it into our assignment. So let's see what we could do in regards to that. So over here is where you could put it as a PDF, and that's right there. So we have the data, and this is where it's going. So if you click that button, if we did put it into the desktop, I could go ahead and name it. I'll just put output. I can name it here, SPSS output. Okay, and then descriptive. And I'm going to put K through 12. And then it's always good to put the date. So the date would be 02, 21, and 26. So once we have all of that, it's saved as a PDF, and you would hit save. And then you would hit OK, and it would go into that folder. So it is exporting the information. And then that information could be downloaded to actually be putting it into our assignments and stuff that is due. So again, to explain it one more time, what we did do is we went ahead and had that save as, and then we later on exported it, and now we have a PDF version of that data. And that about sums up what we're doing here. I hope this was informative and helpful, and we will go ahead and I'll just finish this up. Thanks. Bye.